Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watch One, and thanks for logging on. Today we are looking at the Girard-Perregaux Seahawk Pro BMW Oracle Team Limited Edition of 1000. You can see this 44mm stainless steel Girard-Perregaux Deep Diver Limited Edition on our website, watchyouwant.com. Purchase it there if you like. And if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Watch You Want Inc. On my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, this is an immense timepiece. Now, 44mm across the round of the case, it is a burly 15.5 millimeters thick, but a truly ginormous 56 millimeters from lug extremity to opposite extremity, and you really do feel the footprint of this watch. It has the feeling on the wrist of a largely metal Hublot King Power 48, or one of the 2012 to present Hublot Big Bang Ferraris in precious metal. It's that hefty. In terms of size, among dive watches, we're talking about something that's definitely in the class of the Rolex Deep Sea Sea Dweller 44mm, or something like a Ball hydrocarbon engineered Deep Quest. We're talking about that type of watch. So it's very hefty. It's very impressive in terms of stance, wrist presence, but make no mistake, you're not going to forget this one's on your wrist. Now, everything that's touching it, the watch head itself, is just as tough as the case. You can see how thick this strap is where it abuts the lugs. This is not one that's going to snap or get torn, regardless of what kind of diving sport you're used to. It's a very impressive strap. Massively built. It features relief channels on the bottom so that during periods of activity, especially involving salt and sand, appropriate to the yachting intent of the design, this watch offers relief for any grit or sweat or moisture that might be trapped underneath on your wrist. Now, the buckle does a good job of counterweighting the watch head itself, preventing any kind of tendency of the watch to feel top-heavy or want to capsize, principally because the buckle itself is just so massive. Built in stainless steel like the rest of the watch, it features a double deployant for easy closure on a smaller wrist. I want to emphasize that Girard-Perregaux is a full-fledged manufacturer. They're one of the great well-kept secrets in high horology. They're actually of the caliber of companies like Zenith or Jaeger-LeCoultre, but smaller in overall volume. But they have that same capability building clasps, building cases, and building their own movements. The clasp speaks to that level of experience. Beautifully finished in and out, it features twin trigger deployants for easy action and secure release. Now, the deployant system featuring the twin trigger can't pop open. It's not a friction fit. It's not secured by a clamshell. It's a very positive opening and closing action, supplemented by a clever dive extension design. Now, you can see there are 3 stations within this end of the clasp. There are 2 stations and 2 separate adjustment lengths within this side, so you can adjust them independently. For instance, you just push in the spring-loaded end pieces and you advance the ends of the strap to size the watch according to your level of activity. You can move it to that intermediate position, snap it into place, or closing it again, you can cinch it down when you're inactive or the weather's cold. If you want, you simply push in those pieces, and again, it's like a trigger action. You simply extend the clasp to fit over a dive suit or to correspond with levels of increased activity. The watch features a beautiful dial incorporating the material not just of modern aerospace and Formula One activities, but of top-level sailboat racing. That is right. In regatta today, in America's Cup competition, to which this watch pays tribute, carbon fiber is the dominant structural materials, not just for hulls, but for masts, booms, and spars. And it adds beautiful texture and depth to this dial. The dial is also beautifully loomed and quite legible day or night. Now, you can see the bezel is truly massive. It features a loomed pearl that you can line up with the minute hand for an impromptu 0 to 60 minute timer. And the watch also features outstanding no and low light legibility, which I'll highlight showing you a loom shot real quick. And now we're back, and it's actually midday here. You can see that watch glowing even in the light of the exterior. This watch has incredible functionality as a true tool watch. So while the America's Cup tribute might be a little bit whimsical, maybe a little bit remote from experience, make no mistake, this watch is true to its origins as a sports watch. Derived from the 2004 Girard-Perregaux Seahawk Pro, this watch is true to form in every respect, a serious deep diving utility timepiece. Now underneath the hands of this carbon fiber dial, you can see a power reserve indicator for the 46-hour power reserve at 6 o'clock. Now you wind the movement, and winding the movement, the caliber GP033RO activates the power reserve, so rather than a simple constant seconds indicator as most dive watches feature, this one lets you know just how much energy you actually have for the sake of accurate timekeeping and isochronism before you take the plunge with this 1,000 meter 330 foot dive watch. Now it does feature hacking seconds, so when I pull the crown completely, you can see that the constant seconds indicator at 10 o'clock does stop for synchronization to a dive timer, an atomic clock, or a known accurate quartz watch. There is a jump date window at 1:30, and it does feature a quick set function for rapid cycling if you ever have to correct the watch. The watch also features standard issue for ultra deep diving dive watches, a helium release valve, so if you're ever in a diving bell, if you're ever breathing exotic oxygen mixtures, this one's got your back, you won't blow out the crystal. Now, because it is an extreme deep diver, the watch features an engraved caseback, solid in nature to maintain hermeticity, but because it is a special edition, a limited edition of 1000, we get an engraving with a dedication on the back to make the watch just a little bit more interesting than a typical solid caseback. You can see the image of the America's Cup Challenger of BMW Oracle Racing of the Golden Gate Yacht Club of San Francisco. You can see the Yacht Club Burgee, as well as a note that this was the 32nd America's Cup held in 2007. This edition, one of 1000, was issued during the build-up to that race in 2005. You can see it and you can buy it on our website, watchyouwant.com.